get right across now.
Okay, well, I meant for the camera. Like
You know, that's the best I could.
We just thinking.
Yeah, they could.
It doesn't show anything though. There you go. No, it shows.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think it's about that time, and we would like to say thank you for coming to our session. This session is going to be dealing more with student engagement and what that looks like from the student affairs side of the house to connect with the academic affairs side of the house. So we do have Ms. Kristen Chandler, she's from our career services. We have Mr. Brendan Bruscata, who's from Recreational Services. And we have Mr. Don't even say it. Joe is from student activities, but the title of that whole area has changed to student engagement, but he is the student activities coordinator. Oh, I didn't even know they had that up there. But anyway, so here is where, again, we have taken our lenses and we have changed them tremendously to focus more on what student engagement looks like, not just with activities that we do, but also what does it look like when you are looking into the classroom and hearing communications from the students who participate in these activities. So one of the things that I will do now is turn this over to Kristen. And this group also has been learning from John Maxwell's leadership and also learning the student development theory.
Okay, so real quick, our objectives for today. We just want you to gain a better understanding of our services. Many of you were in the session before, so you heard from those areas within student affairs. And we're here to represent other offices in student affairs, and then there are even more besides us. But we want to, a lot of times, I know in the Career Center, I oftentimes hear, well, we really didn't know what all you guys did in the Career Center. You do a lot more than what we thought. So we're here to kind of clear that up. And then learn how we can champion each other. And we'll dig deep into that student development theory that, again, was mentioned in the earlier session. And then at the end, we'll each talk about how we can partner with you. So how we can all work with these students together. Okay. As Dr. Phillips mentioned, I'm Kristen Chandler, the director of the Career Center. And here I have Ms. Shawnee Hollishotter. She's our office manager. She holds us together, believe me. Mr. Colin Burke, he's our career coach, and he's now a MACE certified career coach. So he's doing all of those intense career coaching sessions with the students, okay? And then we have Miss Alicia Rollins. Student employment has moved to our area. Alicia oversees that. So federal work study on campus jobs is now under the Career Center. So the students get awarded in financial aid, and then they move to the Career Center to help with placement and get them through that process. And there she is, Victoria, Miss Victoria George. She's our assistant director. She oversees our career development programming and our online job internship platform where these students are looking for jobs and internships. In the Career Center, everything that we do basically is focused on career development and readiness. So we try to get them freshman year and then, all the way, of course, to senior year. So whether they need resume help or interview skills, to go through mock interviews for jobs, part-time jobs, on-campus jobs, full-time jobs, internships. Maybe they're trying to get into graduate school or into a professional program on campus. We see them whole range of students across the board. We also run a mentorship program out of our office. So when you see information come from Victoria about the mentorship program, that operates under us. So we're pairing students with career professionals, whether that's from faculty and staff on our campus, and we've had a lot of engagement with our faculty and staff, or it can come from in the community, a career professional within the community. And so the idea is to pair a student with someone in the field that they're wanting to go in to teach them more about that field and also the little nuances of everyday workplace that you learn from years and years of being in the workforce. And then, of course, we host the career events on campus, the job fairs. the career fairs. So, you know, now that we're wanting to get more back face to face, we evaluated and said we need to do more specialized fairs. So now we'll do, you know, 6 to 7 career fairs a semester. And then we have other events that we offer as well. All of that information will be forthcoming. And then in the fall, the last thing I have to say about the Career Center, we will be starting a career closet that will open here in the library on the 2nd floor, in the back corner, 221. The First Lady, Dr. Christine Berry, has partnered with us. She, of course, you all know her. She's a faculty member in RMI. She has seen students go, you know, trying to get internships, trying to get them placed in full-time jobs, and she's seen sometimes they have everything that they need, but they just don't have the means, for whatever reason, to get professional attire they need to be successful to give them that opportunity. And we'll be accepting donations from, again, our career professionals here on campus and in the community. So be looking forward to that in the fall. Brandon.
Good morning. I'll take a moment. My staff's not here. I made them stay back there and work at that activity center. But I'll start with Robert Reed. He's our Assistant Director for Rec Services. I have Mara Brown. She is our Assistant Director for Wellness. Excuse me. We have a lot of additions. Mary Morton is our Business Operations Manager. Colton Bernstein is our Facility Coordinator. And not pictured, we have a new water ski coach, is Zane Nicholson. And not pictured is Miss Sunny Bennett, who is the Assistant Director of Spirit Groups and Media Relations for Recreational Services. Also in our picture for Rec Services is the coordinator in Megan's office. Yeah. So she transferred out and sort of the ship in student affairs. But apart from Rec Services being one of the largest student employers on campus, we offer numerous student center functions. Our intramural program offers over 50 events per year, ranging from team sports to individual sports. Our wellness program offers weekly group exercise classes, as well as multiple instructional events throughout the year. Wellness also provides nutritional guidance and exercise prescriptions for members, students and members. Recreation is a healthy outlet to relieve stress, burn calories on our treadmills, on our ellipticals. Students and members can utilize our newly renovated indoor track, our newly renovated, finally, weight room. We're really excited about that. And Rec Services is also home to our, as I mentioned earlier, our ski team and our Young Spirit Group. One thing that I wanted to mention as well, we also have the student food pantry. Kristen reminded me when they started the closet, we started a food pantry a few years ago. Actually, we started right before the pandemic hit, and it was actually heavily utilized. We tried to remain open the best we could. By our international students was very well utilized during that pandemic. But anyway, that's been one of our pet projects. But in Rec Services, we like to say we try to educate the entire student through its services, and we're located right down the road at the activity center next door to Malone Stadium. I'm going to turn it over to Joel and let him come up here and let y'all know a little bit about his area.
If it's okay, I'm gonna stay a little closer to the TV just so I can see all of our members, make sure that we give the proper shout out. My name is Joel Sinclair. I'm the coordinator of student activities within the Office of Student Engagement. Our office strives to give students on our campus the best opportunities for involvement. So overall, that they can leave this campus as a more well-rounded individual. We do events all throughout the year. I just want to highlight some of our members on the screen. Starting on the left, of course, that's myself. I do advise the Campus Activities Board. I assist them with event programming, meetings, policy, everything in between, even our favorite thing, budgeting. Next to me is Emily Essex. She's our Director of the Office of Student Engagement, and she is also the advisor to the Student Government Association. We love what she does for us, and I feel like we have a great leader among us to lead us down the path to give students the best experience possible. Megan Morris is next to her. She coordinates our Miss ULM pageant, one of the longest standing traditions on this campus. along with coordinating the recognized student organizations. Any organizations such as spiritual, leadership, cultural, service, and anything in between, whether you are an avid gamer or anything like that. So we have about 111, 112 recognized student organizations on this campus, and we would love to see more come our way over the next few years. Chris Williams on the very end, he's our Greek life director, coordinator. He is currently doing sorority recruitment right now. His hands are very, very full, but he also oversees the student development side of our office among his responsibilities with Greek life. Overall, we want to give students the best memories of their life. They say college is the best time of your life, so we really want to make that impact and allow them to gain helpful experience, whether it's customer service, community relations, confidence, just make an impact on campus overall.
Okay, and you guys have a video,
Yes, we do.
all right?
The Office of Student Engagement is your key to involvement and entertainment at ULM. Your Warhawk experience starts here. In student engagement, we know just how crucial a well-rounded college experience is to developing prepared students to take on the real world after graduation. And those lessons can't all be learned in the classroom. We are here to offer you opportunities to connect with your campus, develop invaluable leadership skills, and create lifelong relationships and memories you will value for years to come. Whether you join an existing recognized student organization, create a new one to match your own interests, or simply participate in the activities and events our office has to offer, we promise you will benefit from student engagement. So why should you get involved? First, your student fees pay for these opportunities, so take full advantage of them. Second, professional programs and employers look for exactly this type of involvement in ideal candidates. Boost your resume by being involved. Last, college can't be all about the books. It is proven that an engaged student has a higher success rate in the classroom, so take a study break and come have fun with us. Now, how do you get involved? The Office of Student Engagement houses over 100 different recognized student organizations, ranging from Greek life to honor societies, professional groups within a major, to campus leadership and service clubs, religious organizations, and so much more. Check out wingspan.ulm.edu to see a full list of active RSOs and all upcoming student events. We also host several RSO fairs throughout the year for you to meet with our campus organizations in person and find your fit. If you're not quite ready to jump into joining an organization, start by participating in campus events to see what it's all about. Follow us on social media and check out our webpage at ulm.edu/student engagement to keep up with everything campus life.
All right, great. So I did forget to mention in the beginning, I think you guys already did this because the other session we did this. If you'll go ahead and scan your QR code or log in. Sure. Okay, so once you get logged in, now that you've heard from, I believe, 6 different areas at this point, because many of you, again, were in the earlier session, what 3 words come to mind to describe student affairs? No, it's okay. Yeah, sometimes the internet doesn't want to play fair.
It keeps shoving me back into my own presentation.
Oh, is it?
And if y'all don't want to use the QR code at the very top with the website, Minty website with the code, that's also a way for you to get engaged with us. So,
It's not giving me the presentation objectives. Is it just me?
So I think because if you were logged into mine, I had to go to minty.com and not use the QR code. I actually had to go to minty.com and type in the room code from the.
Oh, it wouldn't do the QR code, it was taking the yours.
It
Oh,
kept,
that's good to know.
it kept
Yeah.
blending them.
Experience, passionate, ooh, I like that. Resource, care, magnifying.
see some words that I've heard before.
Lenses.
Yeah.
We know where lenses.
She gave herself away on that.
Fun. We like to think we're fun.
Yeah. And we care.
Inclusive. Good.
It's your information in the screen share, because I think they're just already, I don't know if they're able to see your screen.
On Zoom, okay. We should be good now. Okay. Yes, I would agree with all of these words that came in. Engaging, very good. Well, then you guys came up with a great new name for student life and leadership, student engagement. So what I would say with all of these words is that I think one of the biggest takeaways is that we are an extension of the classroom. We need to be viewed as co-curricular and not extracurricular. We're not extra bonus points. We are part of the student experience, the whole student experience, creating a holistic student. And that's what we're gonna, I think, move into next and start talking about student development theory. Yes. Okay, so this is at the heart of student affairs. This is what drives us. Of course, under student development theory are a collection of different theories, which really can be categorized in 5 main areas. And for us, and we'll look at this on our next slide, we'll dig a little deeper. But really it's all about how the student grows and progresses, again, holistically with all its complexities. So complexities as in self, how they are internalizing self. And again, we'll get to this in our next slide, but they are not going to be the same person when they graduate as they were when they were an 18-year-old freshman. If we're looking at the traditional student, and even a non-traditional, furthering their education is certainly going to change them. And so that's what we're talking about when we talk about complexities, and then the world around them, observing everything that's happening around them. And so you want to ask yourself 4 main questions. Again, the intrapersonal and interpersonal, how I view myself, how I internalize self, and then how I'm taking in what's happening around me. And then what led to the development while you're examining and observing and analyzing all of those things, all of your views, all of your beliefs that are surfacing, and you're kind of re-examining how has that led to your development. And then along the way, what's encouraged and what's inhibited your growth. And then at the end, the developmental outcomes that we're trying to achieve. How have we done that? So we all know student learning outcomes. We kind of identify that in our different areas, and certainly faculty do as well. Certainly takeaways that we think students are going to get, but then what else have they taken away that maybe we didn't even realize? Okay, can move forward. Okay, so within student development theory, we're going to look at cognitive structural. So how these students are perceiving and rationalizing their experiences. And so to use this, I really like Perry's theory of intellectual and ethical development. So basically, we'll go with the 18-year-old freshman again. So here I have this freshman for 18 years. They have looked up to whatever authority figures have been in their life, their parents, their grandparents, whoever has raised them, whoever's been very present in their environment, their teachers. They don't really question authority, and I'm generalizing here. They very much, whatever my parents' religious beliefs are, political views, outlook on the world, whatever I've been exposed to, primary, secondary school, have I been exposed to people from different countries, different races? Has there been open discussion about views other than my own? A lot of kids, when they get here, or young students, young adults, they've not had that exposure. So it's very light. And also when you think about testing, there's not a lot of, probably not a lot of open forum on testing. It's multiple choice. You were supposed to answer A and you put D, so it's all wrong. But the student may have a good understanding of whatever that question was, but it had to be A, B, C, or D. And so you take that student, put them on a college campus, and let's use political science as an example. Put them in a political science class and free and open discussion. So you may have a professor that says, all right, hot topic, vaccinations. If you're for vaccinations, come to this side of the room. If you're against vaccinations, come to this side of the room. You two, come and debate. Okay, whoa, what? That student has probably never had that sort of exposure. And so what happens is in the middle here, they start seeing that it's okay to have opposing views. They see that it's okay to hear, I'm for vaccination, someone's not. It's okay to hear their point of view. It's not going to change you just because you're opening your mind and your ears to someone else. It's opening your mind to something different than what you know. Also, that student that maybe hasn't been exposed to other races, whether that's from a different country or within our own, you put them on a college campus where they're eating in a cafeteria with people of different races. They're living in dorms, people of different races. They're in study groups with people of different races, and they've not had that exposure. Again, they're changing. And then in the end, we want a well-rounded, open-minded, independent thinker. Okay, and so that is what we're talking about here. That is where student affairs comes in, because yes, that student needs that classroom environment. That's where they're getting their framework. That's where they're learning theories. That's where the foundation's being created. And again, going back to that co-curricular, that's where we come in to help elevate that even more outside of the classroom. Go ahead. All right, so I'm gonna put this back on you guys. Now that we've gone through that and sort of explained that theory, how do you think it relates to student affairs and academic affairs? How does that correlate? If you guys will just type in your answer, and we'll see what we can generate here. We're thinking. I see some kind of, is it not want to cooperation? Did you push the button too soon?
No.
Okay. Okay, develops a student that can connect what is learned in the classroom and applied in the real world. Correct. Extending assignments to include engaged activities with a rubric. Yes. Whoever put rubric, my staff knows I love a rubric. I think that zooms in the way I think it's integrated to make a well-rounded student. Both sides of the house lead to student development and achievement of institutional, general educational goals and competencies. Yes. So you guys can read what's up. I want to talk about competencies for a minute. I know that Colin will love this discussion. We focus a lot on that, and I know it's happening in other areas, recreational services and student engagement, and certainly other student affairs areas. But for us, we teach soft skills or essential skills, whatever you would like to call them, but core competencies that employers are telling us graduates out of college are lacking: teamwork, communication, the ability to stand and have a conversation with someone. Whether it be written or oral communication, leadership skills, technology skills, all these things that, again, employers are telling us they're deficits. So certainly they're learning those things in the classroom, but they're also through being engaged and working on that resume or working on their health and wellness, being engaged in organizations and going out in the community and doing volunteer work. That's really nurturing and cultivating those competencies they need to be successful moving forward once they graduate from here.
Well, one thing I'd like to jump in and add
Please
is,
do.
as a student, again, I mentioned we're the largest student employer on campus. And everything that Kristen just said, as a large student employer, I would wholeheartedly agree. Communication with students coming out of college is scary, because they're not very good at it in college. I mean, we have revamped our entire training just to cover a big portion that's gonna be covering communication with your supervisor. And when I go over my training with my students, I've always said this, and I've had to say it, is this is a job. This is, I mean, you think it's crazy. They apply, they get a schedule, and you have to say it, because for some of these students, it is literally their first job. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know where y'all were, I started working for my dad at 14, and I've had a job ever since. I mean, I never have not had a job. So it is a challenge, and I think if we all can work together on this, I mean, they've got to understand the communication piece. And that's stuff we are working on going over with them, is communicate with your supervisor and not communicate via text message. That's not a great form of communication with your boss. There is times when you need to do that, but there's also times where you don't. So we try to, that is something that we really, really work on at the Activity Center and Network Services with our 85 to 90 kids that work for us. So.
And Shawnee supervises our student workers, so she has, you know,
You
just
feel it.
showing up. God, if you can't show up, at least call and tell
Call and
someone.
tell us.
Yeah,
Not a text
it's-
message 15 minutes after your shift.
Right.
You know?
About an hour or two.
Oh, no, I was being generous. But yes, we have hours, we have 15 minutes. It's definitely a challenge, and that's something that we can definitely all work on with the students.
So thank you, Brandon, for that. And thank you all for your feedback there. We'll download all of that feedback and certainly analyze it. Okay, so we're gonna move sort of, you know, towards the end of our presentation. Our last objective that we had, how can we partner together? I'm gonna have Colin talk to you about this, because this is what he does. I actually got all of this off of his email that he sent out to the ladies. So it's only fair that you talk about it.
Hey, good morning, folks. Probably over the last few weeks, or if you haven't seen my face before, you probably recognize my name because I've bombarded all of you with emails, and so I don't know where we are at this stage. You may like me, you may not. But with everything that's been said, you know, we are talking about how student affairs can partner with academic affairs, and I think we are at the origin of that, to be honest. You know, continuously we're pushing that kind of cognitive structural theory towards what we do in the classroom, and I think that's exemplified by a conversation that I had with a faculty member yesterday who came to me. We're offering now group interviews, for example. The structure of that, he asked me what it was, and I said, well, we're going to have 8 to 10 students doing an interview at one time, all simulating that real interview environment. But not only that, when we're rounding up and giving feedback, each one can offer at the end their own perspectives on how another answered a question. And so that way we're moving from that idea of, you know, a very structured set of viewpoints to, hey, I like what you said there, that kind of makes sense. And then they're adopting new information and understanding that this is a collaborative experience for them to move forward with themselves, their career decisions and everything like that. So I guess all that to say is, as I'm sending these emails, this isn't just a way for me to push myself into your classroom. There's a real target in mind to develop the student in a holistic perspective, to meet the demands of what the workforce is looking for in that student, because the theory, the pedagogy that you're teaching them is only a piece of the entire puzzle, because they've got to be able to function as human beings, and they've got to be able to adopt those soft skills to be successful long after they leave the classroom. So I'm very, very happy and open towards offering any of these presentations and amending them depending on your curriculum. And I make that very clear on email that what I have here is a roadmap for what I generally teach, but we can very much sit down and become collaborative in nature with how we do things. So, you know, as I said, sitting down with faculty members, I'm doing that all the time to meet your objectives. So, you know, as I sit there and say that this needs to be done, we're very flexible with trying to accommodate you and your rigid schedule, because I know you guys have a lot to get through, but I really do feel that we have everything that you could possibly want to offer, setting them up for the workplace. Obviously, there's a lot of people who have internship components ingrained into your curriculums, which is fantastic, but even just educating them on what the workforce looks like before you even go in, that has a place too, you know, so they can hit the ground running, so they can understand what the challenges they may face and the importance of communication skills, even fundamental things like knowing how to, you know, and not have their phones out in front of, you know, their employer. It seems mad that that would even be something you need to iterate, but again, it's common sense to some, maybe not to this new generation. So we're just making sure that, you know, we're representing the university at our most extent when we're out in the workplace, and that we're setting them up for success. So, you know, as I said, I don't know if my email is there, but I'm sure if you look up burke@ulm.edu, you'll have about 50 emails in your inbox. So I'm not hard to track down. So we're in the first door on the right. It's probably something you know already, in Sandal Hall. Pretty easy to pick out. And if you ever need me for anything, I'm certainly happy to, you know, collaborate with you guys. And I want to thank you for, you know, listening to me and everything like that. Look forward to working with you.
All right, thank you, Colin. Joel.
All right, so for the student engagement side, the most immediate thing we can think of is going back to having events that are educational in nature, having events that engage the students, faculty, staff, and community as a whole. I'm sure most of y'all are familiar with the Presidential Lyceum series, and if y'all been on this campus for a while and have seen the marketing material, the Campus Activities Board has done leadership workshops where we simply bring an engaging speaker to campus. There were a couple of years where we did alcohol awareness, but it was comedic as well. They had activities, you can go on stage, put on some drunk goggles. So we're constantly looking to enhance something, but not a whole lot of people want to attend. So we want to get that kill two birds with one stone aspect, you know, get that education, but get that engagement as well. So overall, that is the goal. But of course, we are planning to make efforts to collaborate with academic departments and colleges on campus to host keynote speakers. We really want to reintroduce that as a way to get out of your residence hall and just have a good time. We'll serve your food, we'll do the refreshments, we'll go, you know, the whole 9 yards. So that's of course immediate for us. And then future preparation for our Presidential Lyceum series. We have not done one since 2019. As Dr. Bruno was finishing his career here on campus, but we would love to collaborate with academic colleges to enhance this event, and of course for y'all to be more involved with us, the Office of Student Engagement, in this. So if this is feasible, I know it's not on here, but I just want to put it out there. If it's feasible, we do have a committee. I have a committee head within the activities board, but if each, you know, academic department or college, we'll make communications later down the line once week of welcome is done. But to appoint a liaison with those departments, with those colleges, to work with our Lyceum and, you know, leadership development committee, so that we can all come together, get some meetings done, and see what we can do for this campus, and really, you know, revitalize these events that not necessarily are lacking, but they just need a little extra punch to it. They need more representatives, more people that students can connect to at the end of the day. So.
Recreational services, how can we partner with you? Well, there's a couple of different ways. I've mentioned a lot of the students and relieving stress and exercising. But one thing I didn't mention is, you know, every single faculty staff member can join the activity center for $15 a month. We also do payroll deduction, so we can make it real easy going. Because there's things, you know, instructors also need to relieve stress. I mean, there's no doubt. we also, with that, if you join that Kiddy Center, you get all that stuff. Everything's available to you. The nutritional guidance, exercise prescriptions, and everything we offer throughout the year. We are already working with kinesiology. If anybody from kinesiology is in here, you probably know this. Your activity classes have been hosted in that Kiddy Center, I think since you went back to Brown. So we're already collaborating there. Dusty Martis sends us a ton of interns. So we're an internship site for kinesiology. They can do wellness, they can do extramurals, they can do facility management. So we're really excited to continue those things. A couple other things we really want to continue, because we work with the School of Nursing for offering blood pressure screenings and health fair. We would like to bring back the larger health fair, obviously for obvious reasons. We have not done that in a while. We also have begun to work with the School of Pharmacy with their student initiatives, and I think there's 7 of them. But they did a little health fair last year, smaller scale version outside, right at the conclusion of the University Month. I know that's probably not the best time to do some blood pressure screenings, et cetera, because we just ran, but it was a good deal. The students got to get out and interact and do some of the things that they're trying to accomplish at the School of Pharmacy on our campus. So one thing Dr. Fields is and I spoke with at length is the School of Education. What can we do? And my wife is a teacher. And so we actually discussed this last night when I was telling her about this presentation. PE has been pushed out of the classroom at the elementary level. So they are, Dr. Fields and I have discussed, how do we partner with the School of Education? What does that look like? And I'm really excited to see if we can do that. One thing, we came up with off the top of our head, mimicking climbing for Jack and the Beanstalk in the ELA. This will get them active. Working with, and I'm a buzzword, if there's somebody from School of Education, you know what this is, and working with Go Noodle. That is their PE, and that drives me, it's good. Go Noodle's great, but it drives me crazy as a parent. So how do we work with the School of Education, and what does that look like? And that, at this point is so, in its infancy, I don't know, but I would love to find out. So that is just some things that in recreational services we are trying to do and work with the academic affairs side of the house.
Very good. Okay, so in concluding, this is how you can contact us. Again, we're in Sandal Hall, 139, and they're in the Activity Center of Recreational Services, and Student Engagement is the student center connected to the Student Union building. So Dr. Fields is coming up. I think she has some words and also open it up for questions.
So the other thing may come to mind is how exactly do we make these links, these connections? And of course, when you are writing your syllabus and preparing for the semester, and even if you get down past midterm and you see where there may be something that you would like to review. For instance, if you are dealing with one of your topics and you may think that there is a speaker that can be used to enhance that particular topic, then please feel free to contact Campus Activities Board so that they may be able to help you navigate to have that person come to campus. If you are in the health services field and you're looking to do something with nutrition, you may have an activity for your students who are working on some type of healthy eating or lifestyle or something like that. And I should have looked at the roster to see where the areas are, but that may be something that they can work on. In chemistry, you may have some type of, let's just say you're working on a project and you're going to make something, or either you're going to establish some type of protocol or anything like that. We do have staff members that are available to be able to assist and not only just have that pertinent to your classroom, but we may be able to set it up so that other students can be exposed to what is happening in this chemistry class, because that's also important. But especially just using the term chemistry, as I think about it, most students when they come, they're like, I'm gonna leave that to last. And I'm going like, no, you cannot do that. Don't leave it to last. You need to make sure that you do it. A lot of times I recommend that they take it in the summer, especially if they're stressing about it. It gives them a little bit more focus where they don't have other things that are moving outside. But I always tell them never leave it for last, because that's not a great idea. So those types of things, if we can help you enhance what you have in your syllabus to be able to carry through some type of activity outside of the classroom, that's what this is about, is connecting across and then helping to make your objectives come to life, more or less. That's what we would like to do. Are there any questions or comments at this time?
We just have one question related to what you just said right now. So if we wanted to invite maybe like a distinguished professor coming from another university, will you be willing to pay part of the money if all of it for that visit, even though maybe the levy would be limited to the science students?
What we would like to do is, yes, first of all, the answer to your question is yes. There is a committee that you would connect with Campus Activities Board. And if it, for chemistry, be Campus Activities Board. So Joel will work with you to move that through its correct processes. The students will also kind of talk with you to find out more about what it is that you would be interested in doing. And what we would like to do is set up a venue so as many students can be involved, would be involved. And that's where we would like to make that connection of what you would like to do. Yes, and so Joel, you can meet with you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Comments? No comments?
I'm a broken record. It's awesome. You guys are doing such a great job. And as you're talking, I'm thinking like, ooh, the interns from kinesiology who are working with rec services. Again, broken record. The things that I stick in my brain, I say a lot. Could map the places on campus where faculty and staff and students can walk when it's raining outside or really hot. And talks about, I think, based on my own calculations, and English is my discipline, so I mean, it's a guess. 7.5 laps on the 3rd floor of Walker is about a mile. So like if people do that, then they can do that. And then if you told them in this amount of time, then you're walking approximately 3 miles an hour and you should step it up. I don't know, things like that. But that would be awesome. So like different places where people could do that. And I think there's tons of, especially, junior and senior level classes within disciplines. If they had a capstone class, they're probably trying to focus on job skills and getting their students ready. It'd be pretty easy for a faculty member to look at their course objectives on their syllabus and see how they match up with the services that you guys are offering. So they don't have to be the expert on group interviews. They can go, oh, I'm gonna get him to come do that. It's impressive.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example of something we're gonna do in the spring. We are working with, Colin and I and Victoria are working with Dr. Dolchek, Dr. Griswold, to go in the spring and do a workshop series with the College of Health Sciences. And so what they do, I can't remember if it's just seniors or if they include juniors in this, but at the end of the series, they have a luncheon with employers that they bring in. And so they get these students geared up for that luncheon. And so we'll do our workshop before then and we'll split and we'll move them through because it'll be a lot of students. But those competencies, job skill training, how to handle yourself appropriately at a luncheon when you're talking to employers, questions to ask, conversations to have. We'll work with them on all of that leading up to that luncheon. And that's something, Colin was saying when we were on that slide a minute ago, we gave you a list of classroom presentations that he's developed, but certainly we can customize where needed. We've never done anything like this workshop series. And so once we've created that and it's developed and we've done it, then we can implement that other places, other degree programs across campus. So that's just an example.
I didn't mean to leave Joel out in positive comments. Also, I mean, when you have such an awesome opportunity housing the RSOs, these are students who, with the help of their disciplines, can identify those keynote speakers and experts in their disciplines And, you know, that's a perfect connection, the American Saint AC, yeah. You know, so like the students who are members of that can work with him and say, this would be something that would be of interest to us as a very impressive person, but also of interest to other students as well, so super exciting.
Okay, I think that we are right at that time for you to need to move into your next session. There is an evaluation for this session as well. They're going to bring that information up on the screen for you. And please make sure that you be very candid and open with us so that we'll know what we need to do a better job to be able to work with academic affairs and how we will be able to help you and the students do more on campus. Thank you.
It's not a good idea.
We need to get a picture. We all need to get a picture.
Great job, Kristen. Great job, crew.
You're the pro with it. No. Hold on, we're gonna get a picture.
I saw it.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Great job, Joel.
I didn't even notice so years ago.
You're always good for that. So I'm always makes me happy. I went to a poetry night and somebody was talking about me. What about Joel? We're going. You got to show them. It was great.
Okay. Oh, my phone's over here.
So, with your insurance,
Good job, guys. Thanks, job.
so, that may be a question for them. I can get you information. And, she didn't know email.
Yes.
So.
I feel like
Brandon.
Brandon, yes.
Those are sunglasses?
Are they Ray-Bans or
Yeah.
That's like, as far as like my personal preference. Yeah, so like if you need to figure things out with. That's why I've been sending it so. Where like, midnight, all I have to go with 20 classroom, that's when they are.
Well, you know, he went like a year and a half to get it. And the longer he went, the more they could allow him dinner or supper every week, as long as he cut his share.